Disneyland is currently celebrating its 70th anniversary, yet there is one element of the celebration missing that had previously prominently featured in Disney anniversary celebrations: a giant cake. From dancing cakes to cake castles to cake girls, Disney has created many giant cakes to celebrate various milestones of Disney. So let's look back at every Disney giant cake. The first instance of a giant cake appearing in a Disney park was featured in the Disneyland 10th Anniversary Special. In the 1965 special, Mary Poppins flies over Sleeping Beauty Castle while sprinkling magic, creating a giant cake with ballet dancing candles on top of it. The cake then breaks into slices that also begin dancing before they eventually reunite, and the candles give a bow. The giant cake was only featured in the TV special, and guests couldn't see it themselves in the park when visiting for the 10th anniversary, although more permanent giant cakes would soon arrive in the Disney parks year-round 30 years later. To celebrate Mickey Mouse's 60th birthday in 1988, Magic Kingdom was planning on adding a giant pink cake overlay to the Carousel of Progress in Tomorrowland, meaning the cake would rotate as the theatre also rotated. Instead, Mickey's birthday lamb was decided on to be Magic Kingdom's edition that celebrated Mickey's 60th birthday. The new land would still feature a slightly large cake in the Mickey's Birthday Land show, with Mickey and the gang dancing on a giant cake at the end of the show while singing Happy Birthday to Mickey Mouse. The first proper large-scale cake overlay would appear on a Disney castle, but not the one you're probably thinking of. To mark Euro Disney's first anniversary in 1993, Sleeping Beauty Castle was transformed into the Strawberry Shortcake Castle, lasting until the end of the first anniversary celebrations ended. The Strawberry Shortcake Castle saw most of the castle's walls wrapped in cake decorations, including fruit and icing, but the turrets and windows still remained as usual, looking like a castle. With these elements of a castle and the castle cake overlay using a similar colour scheme to the original castle, the reception to this overlay was mostly positive. However, the positive reaction would influence one of the most controversial overlays of Magic Kingdom's castle. To celebrate Magic Kingdom's 25th anniversary in 1996, the usual blue and white Cinderella castle was transformed into a giant pink castle cake, with every element of the castle included in the overlay. Through the use of inflatables, special fabrics to cover the castle, and 55,040 tablespoons of pink paint, Cinderella Castle became a giant cake overnight, complete with pink icing, candy cane towers, candles, and oversized candy decorations. Not only did it stand out more than Disneyland Paris's overlay, it also lasted until January 1998. And many first-time guests to Walt Disney World during the celebration were not happy that their first photos of Cinderella Castle featured the pink monstrosity instead of a regular white and blue castle. Since then, some have grown nostalgic for this overlay, and this giant cake was definitely controversial when it debuted. The Magic Kingdom's castle cake was nearly not the last castle cake to appear. For Disneyland's 50th anniversary, Disney considered creating another cake overlay with icing on the towers, character-themed candles in the plaza, and Elliot from Pete's Dragon appearing to light the candles. But the castle instead just received a refresh for the park's 50th anniversary in 2005. The final appearance of giant cakes at the Disney parks appeared at Disneyland Paris in 2018 for Mickey Mouse's 90th birthday. In each land, a giant cake and accompanying cupcake girl could be found, themed to the land it was located in. At each cake, one of the cupcake girls could be found to interact with and occasionally hand out a medallion themed to their land's cake, with 5 in total to collect. The cupcake girls would then appear at the start of a parade alongside the family of the day, again celebrating Mickey Mouse's 90th birthday. 2018 would mark the last time Disney would create large cakes to mark a special occasion, instead opting for real edible cupcakes to celebrate these events. Of all the giant cakes, Magic Kingdom's 25th anniversary castle cake is perhaps the most iconic, although Disneyland Paris has also favoured the giant cake, even if more tasteful in the form of a strawberry shortcake castle, and the Cupcake Girls. There are also a few cancelled cake overlays that fortunately never came to be. So I want to know if you've ever experienced any of these giant cakes at the Disney parks, or would you have liked to have seen any of them become more permanent? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment down below on what you want to see next on the Distory channel.